my original career, I wasn't supposed to be doing this at all. I was actually supposed to be a preacher. I went to school to be a pastor, so I was going to be doing this on Sunday. It's almost like I got the days wrong, you know. So that was the world that I grew up in. I had a mom, Christian woman. She wanted me to be a preacher. And then my dad wanted me to take over the illegal casino business. So they didn't agree on much. The only thing they agreed on is that I would never pay taxes.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my friend, Justin Smith.
Thank you guys so much. You guys were worth every penny that I paid for you guys to do that. That was wonderful. Springfield, Missouri, you guys are absolutely fantastic. I love this town. I know it sounds like you're waiting for me to say something really mean on the other end of that. But it's great. I love this. That's what I wanted right there. That's how I wanted to get right to yellow right there. You think we can turn the lights back on? You think that's... What happened? You know my favorite part about a lighting guy? Is he's got one job, and it's don't touch it. I don't know if you've seen our lighting guy, but they pay him in cigarettes and Red Bull, so that's probably why. I like Southern Missouri a lot, mainly because it's like you guys aren't an all the way fat town, but. Like I like that I can come to your town and I could I like to think that if I committed a crime, it would take the cops more than a day to find me. And that lineup would be long. You understand what I'm saying? Like it's not like if the APB went out like, hey, listen, we need a morbidly obese guy wearing ridiculous clothes, you're like, well, can we get a little more than that? Maybe that's... You just described part of our police force. If we're being honest, that's... But it's very good. I also love that it's like, no matter how... Because like you guys have a bunch of colleges here. Like I said, I used to come here. I used to go to the theater here, believe it or not. You have a great community theater here that I used to go to all the time. So like I thought like when I would take my special, I was like, no matter like what kind of in-depth like thoughtful things, like I had a thoughtful theme, and I'm like, they'll get it. Because y'all are my people, but you're also like, we've read some books. You know? But I like no matter what, it's always like you guys will remind me like, hey, we're still Missouri. Like when I was thinking about naming this special, the name that I came up with was Coronation. And the reason I came up with Coronation was it was because it's where reality and destiny meet. So if you're a king or a queen, it's the moment that what you were destined to be becomes. And I was like, oh man, they'll get that. And I'm setting up this set. And the first guy from Missouri walks through that door and it says, why does it say Coronation on it? Well, I guess there's one guy that's like, oh, that's what it says. But I get it, man. It's kind of a thing, you know. Because this is you know, we've had a kind of weird last few years, you know. Like, I mean, I'm telling you, man. I've gotten to the point now, like I'm at the age where life lessons are no longer voluntary. Because like when you're young, you select when you learn life. Like you're like, I'm gonna get, you know, leather walking boots. I'm gonna get like a journal, you know. I'm gonna start dating a guy with a boat. Like you start thinking like, oh, that's how I'm gonna take life in that way. But at my age, life lessons are just thrust upon you like green bean casserole at Thanksgiving dinner. You're like, well, you like this now, so enjoy it. Like here's something I learned recently. I did not know how important jets are in a public hot tub. I didn't know. I was in a hotel. I was in Miami. It's a very nice hotel. I put on my swim trunks. I went down in the elevator. I was so excited, and I got to the jacuzzi, and there were a couple other guests from the hotel already in there. And in that scenario, when the jets are working, you're just a bunch of weary travelers, just resting your bones. But the second those jets stop working, you're just taking a bath with two dudes. Like that's all you're doing. And that's what I was doing. Taking a bath with two Japanese businessmen who did not speak English, but were still pretty cool with how things had changed in their favor. I learned that lesson. I learned this lesson because I've been ordering Popeye's chicken for delivery so much that the other day when the delivery guy brought me my order, he handed me the bag, and I could tell by the weight of the bag that I was missing 2 biscuits. You ever have that moment with the delivery guy? You just gotta sit there, look him in the face, and you're just like, this feels a little light, bro. The sway's off. What'd you do, throw an extra buttermilk ranch in there? Think I wouldn't notice? I noticed. I have people more often than not, I get asked this question a lot, which is crazy to me. People will ask me, what is the best meal that you've ever had? And I'm like, don't you want to know my name first? Like this feels like a weird thing to fire from the hip. But I know what they mean. I know they want a particular restaurant or an experience. But I can tell you right now, and I don't think I'm alone, that the best experience you could ever have is eating an insanely large meal with no witnesses. It's the best meal you will ever eat. But on the other side, whenever you're trying to eat the crazy meal, you're trying to eat that best meal, and somebody disrupts that process, that's the worst experience you can ever have. I'll never forget, I was in my hometown in Oklahoma, and I went to a Schlotsky's Deli. They just built it. It's brand new. The turkey shavers are just perfect. I don't know if you've ever been to a new Schlotsky's, but it's awesome. And so they just built it. It had just opened, and so I went. I was like, I'm gonna support a local chain. You know, like I'm gonna... So I'm in my car, I get to the drive-thru, and I go, 1 large turkey sandwich, please. And the guy on the speaker was like, hey man, just so you know, the large sandwich, it's like really big. And I'm like, man, we good. And then he came at me again. And he goes, sir, I don't think you understand. This sandwich is the size of a dinner plate. And I was like, well, you better check your watch, because it's dinner time. But man, I mean, I've had multiple experiences like this. Like I had a friend of mine invite me to a fight party one time. You know, like somebody buys pay-per-view and they all come over. And my friend Nate and Laura, they're good people, but they're skinny Southerners, which means that there will be food, but it's on a toothpick. And that's the fight is 6 hours. Do you understand? Like it's not. So I know I'm gonna have to do a pregame meal before I get there. And I was like, this is the perfect opportunity to eat something disgusting before I go, right? So I went and got Krispy Kreme donuts. Hold on. I went and got Krispy Kreme donuts from a gas station. Don't you groan at me. There's no better secret to keep. I'm gonna tell you something. Krispy Kreme donuts are disgusting as it is, but if you have to open Krispy Kreme donuts and pop a love seal on the way to do it, oh my gosh. It's like putting on a fresh pair of J's. You just slide right in, you're like, oh, I'm gonna tell my grandkids about this. And listen, I'm not gonna tell you how many donuts that I got, because that's between me and the Lord, okay? But I will tell you the term bakers was involved in the title. Now, so I'm going to my friend Nate's house, and I'm doing exactly what you think I'm doing. I didn't come from nowhere. And I'm like, I'm so gonna get away with this. It's so exciting. I'm gonna get away with this. And as I pull up to his house, his wife, Laura, who's the sweetest person on the planet, is taking the garbage out. And the only spot is right next to the garbage cans. And as she's putting it in, she looks and she sees me, and I see her get excited. And she runs up to the car and she goes, oh my gosh. And then she looks into the front window of my car and sees the box of donuts. And she goes, oh my gosh, you are so sweet. We ran out of food 45 minutes ago, and you were gonna save this party for me. You're the best guest that I've ever had. And I had to watch as this sweet Southern belle of a woman reached into my front seat and picked up a box that I knew was empty. And I had to watch her feel that it was empty. And I wanted to be like, oh, no, that's a box from another time. But the sell-by sticker was still on it, right? And it looked like I just made out with a glue gun. So, what are you gonna do? Things have been going very good in my career lately. I've had a lot of really fortunate things happen. I just bought an Apple Watch, which is I did it. And I didn't even have to make multiple payments. One swipe and it was mine. You understand? I'm doing so good. But here's the thing, for anybody that's never bought an Apple Watch, the second when you put it on your wrist and you fire it up, the first thing your Apple Watch asks you is, how much do you weigh? And I'm like, bro, we just met. And if there's any fat guys in this room, you know that whenever you get asked a weight question, you gotta find out where the end is. You know, because you'll break patio furniture, or you'll rip a hammock, you'll break a carnival ride if you're not careful. So you gotta find out where the end is. I can't tell you how many doctor's offices I've gone into, and they get that nurse that's like, we gotta weigh you before you see the doctor. And I'm like, you don't. You could just put too much and we're all good. And she's like, it's policy. It's like, policy? We're in a strip mall next to laser tag, okay? And I'm here because my elbow's clicking. You understand? Like, it's not like... But she's insistent, and you gotta go. So you gotta walk into that little, linoleum room where they have that big metal 1980s wrestler weigh-in Vision Quest scale, She's like, hop on up there. And you're just like, well, just remember that you wanted this. I gotta get on that scale and watch her go. It's the weirdest game of chicken that I've ever played in my entire life. So finding the end of the wait is very important. So I got my Apple Watch and I scrolled all the way to the end. And I found the end. I found how high it goes. It's 1,000 pounds. 1,000 pounds. That's what the people at Apple are like, hey, we're safe. 1,000 pounds, really? First of all, if you weigh 1,000 pounds, you don't need an Apple Watch. You need an iPad and a belt. Who's putting that they weigh 1,000 pounds? What human person would put that into existence? Me. I did. And you want to know why? It's very simple. It's because I don't want my watch yelling at me all day. Listen, I can put my normal weight on there, sure. And my watch all day is gonna be like, hey man, what do you say we take a few more steps today? Let's breathe a little bit. Let's be mindful of today. Let's burn some more calories. Let's close some rings. But if my watch thinks I weigh 1,000 pounds, I'm done by breakfast. Do you understand what I'm saying? This is a true story. About 2 months ago, I was in Des Moines, Iowa, and I was laying in my hotel room. I woke up, I threw my covers off, and I walked 3 steps to the mini fridge to get a bottle of water. And as soon as I touched the plastic cap, my wrist buzzed. And my watch said, man, you killed it today, kid. What do you say we take it easy the rest of the day, huh? Let's get some of those truck stop donuts you like so much. I like being in this town because this town very much reminds me of the town that I grew up in. I grew up in a small town in Oklahoma, and the problem is that I've been this kid like this since I was a little baby, and like my dad is very much like a country dude, like he's got land. And he tells people that. But he's not like, people think, oh, you got land. Like, people think Yellowstone. But he's wearing like wide New Balance sneakers. But I love it because my dad is very country. And I grew up in Oklahoma. I have friends that are professional bull riders. I worked in the oil field before I, became a full-time comedian. So I'm used to very country phrases, but even my dad will throw out phrases where I'm just like, I don't even know where that came from. Like the other day, he called me, and he goes, hey, son. And I'm like, hey, Pop, how you doing? And he goes, good. He goes, you been outside today? And I was like, no. It's a pretty safe bet. He goes, I just came from outside. Woo, buddy. It's a good day to sight in a rifle. I have no idea what that means. Not a clue. My brain went through my entire redneck Rolodex and couldn't come up with anything. I was like, Pop, I don't know what that means. And he goes, well, it was sunny outside and there was no wind. And I was like, why don't we say that now? Instead of making it sound like you're auditioning for Cabela's Man of the Year. But that's my dad. He had a hand in raising me. But we haven't got along real great because that's my dad. And then I was the type of kid that when I was 8 years old, for Halloween, I dressed up as Phantom of the Opera. So imagine being in a small town in Oklahoma, going door to door, and I'm talking Broadway quality. Hat, mask, cape, walking up to adult homes. Walking up, ringing the doorbell. And having to watch adults come up shaking that candy bowl, judging how much milk duds they're gonna give me. Look me up and down, and then ask me why my hockey mask is broken. All right, I guess we're not all readers in this room, I guess. Not everybody reads. They sight in rifles. You say something funnier to me again, I'm gonna have you removed. I'm gonna have my two cousins take you out of here. Yeah. Oh, they're with you? Not the way they're looking at me, they're not. The way those bottom buttons are stretching, they're with me in the Krispy Kreme donuts. Because I pay promptly. It was very weird because I had to move back to my hometown for a while, and I don't know if you've ever moved back. Because I was doing comedy in New York City. I was chasing my dream. It was amazing. And then I don't know if you've ever had to move back and not be famous. But it's not as awesome as you think it would be. But because here's the thing, I wasn't one of those guys that I didn't have any delusions of grandeur. I had very my goal as a comedian when I left my small town in Oklahoma was to just be famous enough that I could get on the welcome to the town sign. That's it. Just wanted to be that famous. Just to get on the and I don't know if you've ever been to Oklahoma before, but that's a pretty attainable goal. It's real easy. Most towns, it's the weatherman. The problem is that I'm from a small town in Oklahoma called Yukon. And Yukon is famous for one person in particular, and it's Garth Brooks. You know, that guy. You know, the guy that outsold the Beatles. He literally wrote Sweet Caroline for the South. Because you can't go to a bar in Texas, Kansas, Missouri, Alabama, Florida, and say the phrase, blame it all on my roots, and have a wave of White Claw yell back into your face because I showed up in boots. Do you see what I'm saying? It's the worst. It's the worst. Can we have these two thrown out, please? You're in my special, okay? You can't beat the guy. He's got a street sign named after him. He's got a water tower. He was supposed to have a wing of a hospital. Do you understand how crazy? You can't beat a guy that's supposed to have a wing of a hospital. when you look like a guy that eat wings at a hospital. Do you understand? I've had a lot of interesting things happen recently. I got divorced, which is it's fine. I like this reaction. Just nothing. Just a life raft on the Atlantic. People that get excited, I don't trust them. People that get sad, that's a red flag also. I just like people just like, hey, we're gonna feel your energy, and then we're gonna go off of that. Those are my favorite people, you know? Because people ask me, like, what's the worst part about getting a divorce? And I can tell you without hesitation that it's the people that try to give you advice. Those are the worst people on the planet. I wish I could take them to New Orleans during Mardi Gras and make them lick Bourbon Street. You understand what I'm saying? Like, they're the worst people. I despise them so much. For those of you that aren't familiar, there's two types. The first type is like an older gentleman, right? He's a receding hairline, and he's still kind of got like a rat tail pony, like he's trying to hang on to it, you know? And, he's got a lot, he chain smokes cigarettes. He's got a lot of energy. He believes in a lot of conspiracy theories, but they're never good ones. It's never like, hey, who shot Tupac or Biggie? It's always like, hey, man, do you know what temperature steel beams melt at? Like, he's like that guy, you know? Like, if he sends you a computer link, you're like, if I open this, I'm gonna have to throw this laptop away. And that guy's always waiting for me outside of my show. Always. Sitting outside, chain smoking cigarettes, and as soon as he sees me, he gets so excited. As soon as he sees, hey! You're the guy who was talking about divorce. And I'm like, yeah. He's like, it's so hard. You're like, I guess so. He's like, hey. You ever think about drowning her? You're like, oh my gosh. I don't want to hang out with this guy. This guy sucks. Also, he's smoking American Spirits, and those things never go out. You know what I'm saying? Like, they stay lit forever. But I'll take that dude 1,000,000 times over like a young, like a college student type, right? 20, 21 years old, come up to me after a show, just filled with information. And they're always shocked that they're seeing me, even though they just saw me perform. They're like, oh, hey, you were the guy that was just on stage talking about your relationship ending. And I'm like, yeah. He's like, man, I know what you're going through, brother. Oh, do you? Yeah, man. I was dating this girl for like 4 months one time, right? We were living together and everything. And then we broke up, and I left my iPhone charger at her house. And that thing's gone, man. It's gone. I'll never see it again. And I'm just sitting there and I'm like, an iPhone charger? Dude, I lost a KitchenAid mixer, okay? Like, you know what that's like? I lost a KitchenAid mixer and a Dyson vacuum in 10 minutes. You ever gone from a Dyson back to a Dirt Devil? Oh. You feel like a peasant. You really do. You might as well just give me a Super Bowl t-shirt with the wrong winner on it. Like, that's how I feel. People always ask, like, what's the thing that changes once you get a divorce? And I can tell you that it's not anything big. It's lots of little things that you don't notice until you're in the moment. Like watching movies is different now. Like I was watching a movie with a buddy of mine. He's a young dude. His name's Madison. He's a comic, and he's like 23 years old, and he's like he still believes in love at first sight. Like it's so cute. And we're sitting and we're watching a movie together, and the movie that we're watching is a guilty pleasure. It's a movie called Den of Thieves, and it stars Gerard Butler, which lets you know where the acting ceiling is. He doesn't have abs for no reason, okay? So he's not channeling Thespius. So I guess that was just for the back of the room. Just one theater nerd's back there like, I know what he's saying. So there's a scene in this movie where Gerard Butler, who's a cop, is getting a divorce from his wife. And he has the divorce papers, and then he finds out that his soon-to-be ex-wife is on a date with another fella. So he's going to show up with the divorce papers and sign them in front of everybody, make a huge deal. And this scene is in so many movies all throughout Hollywood. So Gerard Butler shows up, divorce papers in hand, sets them down on the counter, makes a huge scene, and then signs them like Walt Disney in those 1990 videotapes, just crazy, just going over the top. And my buddy Madison, remember, 23 years old, hasn't experienced a lot, is watching this movie with me, and he goes, man, this is like really awkward. And I'm like, I know. There's no notary present. They're going to have to do this all over again. That piece of paper is worthless. It means nothing. It's like male nipples. It's just for aesthetic alone. But it has been a very interesting time because my ex and I we're still very cool. She says lived her life, and sometimes people just grow apart. That's the thing, and that's fine, and people do that, and she's happy, and I'm happy, and it's great. It was interesting recently because she just got remarried, and she sent me a little postcard like, hey, I got married. And she got married on top of a mountain, which it's almost like she was like, hey, where's the one place I know that he won't show up to? Touche, I got problems with stairs. I got to buy hiking equipment for this. But I wanted to be like, I don't know. Like, dear, you don't even have to try that hard. You could have had that wedding, at a Planet Fitness, at a juice bar. You could have had it in my living room, and if you don't serve the right kind of crab cakes, I'm not coming out. You understand what I'm saying? Believe it or not, I was not actually, my original life goal, my original career, I wasn't supposed to be doing this at all. I was actually supposed to be a preacher. I went to school to be a pastor, so I was going to be doing this on Sunday. It's almost like I got the days wrong. The problem is, because my mother is a very sweet and wonderful woman. She's a very Christian lady, one of the best people that I've ever met in my entire life. She had me in church every day that she could, and a lot of days when the church wasn't even open, because she had keys. And where else would you eat Chick-fil-A? That's like a home game. And she loved the idea of me being a preacher. The problem is that my dad also had a hand in raising me. And my dad used to run underground casinos in Oklahoma. He used to. Like whatever the statute of limitations is. So that was the world that I grew up in. I had a mom, Christian woman. She wanted me to be a preacher. And then my dad wanted me to take over the illegal casino business. So they didn't agree on much. The only thing they agreed on is that I would never pay taxes. But it was very awkward. It was very awkward to have a dad who had an all-cash business. Because I'll never forget the first time I had to pay tuition at my college. Because I don't know if you know what happens in a house that runs an illegal casino, but there's cash everywhere. And it sounds sexy. Like people think of like, oh, you think of like rappers on private jets with Louis bags, 100 bands. You think of little baby counting money on a private plane. Like that's what people think about, but it's not like that at all. It's just 5s and 10s and dirty 20s. Look like I've been run over by a Delisi cement truck. It smells like whiskey and cigarettes. It's like an AA meeting in your house. And we would just throw them in this box that, it's this old box, like a Dole banana box that had handles. And I don't know if anybody's ever worked in the service industry, you know that box in the walk-in refrigerator that's kicked under the metal shelves, and it's been wet and then dried and then wet and then dried and then wet and then dried. Yeah, that's what we would just throw money in the corner of our house. And I'll never forget, the first day I had to pay tuition, I was like, hey, Pop, I got to pay tuition for my conservative Christian college. And he goes, hey, just take the box of cash. And I was like, hey, you think maybe like we just get like a check for the first one, Can we put an INC on there just for giggles? And you know what he said? He goes, no. Take the box of cash. They'll love it. They'll love it like it was a novelty. And so what do I do? I go to the corner, I pick up the big box of cash, and I'm just holding it with handle. I got to walk it into the registrar's office. It looks like I'm getting fired from the college. And I have to walk this box of cash up to the registrar's office, and there's some poor girl that she goes to school there, and she's just volunteering. She's like a missionary's kid. And I got to walk it up there, and I just got to put a box of cash in front of her. And she has never seen that much money ever in her life because she grew up in Uganda, and she's used to seeing coins. That's a great currency joke. I don't care what you say. So I just got to put this box of money in front of her, and I'm just like, one tuition, please. Like, I don't know how to order it. And this lovely girl looks at all this money and then looks at me and she's like, baby, I don't know what to do with this. And I was like, well, in my experience, you should probably put it in the safe. And she goes, baby, this is a Christian college. We don't have a safe here. I was like, okay, don't worry about it. Why don't you just take it into the dean's office and then lock the door, and then when he gets back, he can handle it. And she goes, baby, this is a Christian college. Our administrators don't have locks on their doors. And that's the moment that I knew that I was going to rob my college. That should have been the nail in the coffin that I didn't belong at that school. But I kept going because I'm persistent. And the moment that I knew that I didn't belong was, I'll never forget this, I was taking a class. And I don't know if you know much about Christians, but they love Greek language. They love it. They love to talk about it. They love to mention words in it. They still pronounce them gyros. That one takes a little while to get around the room. But they love Greek language. And I'll never forget, I was in a class one day, and the professor was talking about agape love, which, if you're not familiar with Greek language, it's the highest form of love one thing can have for another thing. And he thought, as a way of a good example, he would go down the row of the class and ask each student when the first time they ever saw agape love was. And he goes to the first student. And it's a young dude. He's wearing khakis and a polo. He's got a buzz cut. Like, he looks like he's applying to be an astronaut in the 70s. And the professor goes, tell me the first time you ever saw agape love. And he goes, it would have to be between my father and my mother. And they're pastors in Indianapolis, Indiana. And the professor goes, great. The kid sits down. Goes to the next person. Young, like a lovely young girl. She's got on a skirt and a sweater, hair's in a tight bun. She's put together. She goes, the first time I ever saw agape love, it was between my brother and his wife. And they're missionaries in Chile. The professor says, great. She sits down. Then he gets to me. And I was only in the front row because I was late. And I was late because the class was upstairs. It was upstairs on top of a hill. I almost dropped the class on the way. And I don't know if it was just because I was super sweaty and I was tired and I was still breathing heavy. But I didn't have time to think about my answer. I just answered honestly and from my heart. And the professor said, when was the first time you ever saw agape love, Justin? And I was like, it would have to be between my Uncle Stan and his husband, Charlie. And I don't know if you've ever heard 53 neck muscles snap all at once, but it's striking. And if you ever wondered how you get invited to take the rest of your classes online, that's how you do it right there. Luckily, I had plenty of cash laying around. I could buy some people off. Oh my gosh. This has been an interesting time, man. I really wish, like, more than anything else, like, one of my biggest fantasies is almost, I wish I could go into the future and watch future generations read about us. Like, I want that so bad. Like, think about whenever you dusted off the encyclopedia for the first time and you read about people, like, you're just looking through past generations. You're like, they put leeches where? Like, think about how you felt then and just know that in 100 years, if we're still here, people are going to look at us like that. Because we live in a time right now where we let crazy people dictate what's sane in our culture. It's insane to watch. And it sounds like I'm talking about something specific, but it's not. It's everything. It's shopping on Etsy. Like that's... Even watching documentaries has been like that for me. Like I watched a documentary about elephants the other day. What's controversial about an elephant? Like that's it, like an elephant. They eat peanuts and they don't forget things. And I'm not even sure either of those things is true. You would have thought the documentary would have answered those questions, but no, we had other things to talk about. And in documentaries in particular, they do this thing where they bring in these experts, but they're just crazy people. They bring in the first side, and they come in hot. It's a guy, he's wearing cargo shorts and Crocs. Some of y'all thought that was appropriate for tonight. It's supposed to snow tomorrow. I don't know why you guys are like, it's the last of Crocs season. So you got this crazy guy. He comes out. He's the first opinion on the documentary. He's like, I think that you should be able to hunt elephants with machine guns from a helicopter. And you're like, where did you come from? Alabama. I don't even have to wait for the little caption to come up. I know where he came from. And then you're like, oh, well, that's wild. Even by sighting in a rifle standards, that's pretty wild. You're like, I can't wait to hear the other side of this argument. And then she comes out. And she's got on Birkenstocks. So both sides pick the most ridiculous footwear. And she's furious. She's like, I can't believe they let guys like that talk in public, saying crazy things like that. Because I think, and I don't think I'm alone, that elephants should be allowed to vote in our elections. And you got to watch it as a guy that wells for $15 an hour being like, these are my choices right here. This is what I got to gamble my future on, is these two people right here. But I almost had to stop watching documentaries altogether. I really did. Because I don't know who decides how long a documentary is, but they're not killing it. I've never watched a documentary and been like, man, that was the perfect amount of time to spend on that topic. Like, I've never thought that, not once. One of my favorite documentaries is a documentary called Zion. It came out a few years ago. It's on Netflix. And it's about this young kid. He grew up outside of Cleveland, Ohio. He's an orphan. He's a young black kid. And he has no legs. None. Like, none at all. Like, I know when I say he doesn't have legs, you in your head are thinking like Lieutenant Dan, like Forrest Gump. But it's way further than that. He's like a waist sitting on the floor. Like if you play Call of Duty, you know when you throw a grenade at the zombies and you don't quite get them and they... That's this kid. I just want you to understand what I'm talking about. Because I can't tell you how many times I've talked about this dude and then people are like, and then I show him to people and they're like, why do you say it was like that? It's like, I tried to. I watched you not believe me. So this kid has no friends. And his junior year of high school, he discovers the sport of wrestling. And then he invents a style of legless wrestling. And then he gets so good at it that his senior year, he beats 24 wrestlers in the competitive wrestling state of Ohio, all of which are highly trained, very good at wrestling, trying to not let him win. Oh, by the way, did I mention that they all have their legs? This dude is beyond inspiring. He's amazing. He's literally the most inspiring. He makes Rocky look like a chump. Like he's literally the most inspiring dude that I've ever seen ever. And the documentary that I just talked about, encompassing his entire life, the documentary is 11 minutes long. 11 minutes long. That's how long the people at Netflix are like, this is what we need to put in here, right here. 11 minutes. Meanwhile, if you go a few swipes over on Netflix, you'll come to something called The Taco Chronicles. It's 5 episodes at 45 minutes a pop. They spend 30 minutes on chorizo alone. Meanwhile, we don't even know how this kid pees. We have no idea. Wouldn't you like to know? Well, guess what? Netflix wouldn't spring for the 12th minute. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see. I would like to say something that when I started comedy and I started touring as a headliner, this club was one of the first clubs that ever headlined me, and they made me a part of the family, and I'm so glad that I got to come here and do the special for you. Yeah. And I would like to say from the bottom of my heart, and we're going to cut all this out because I don't want any emotional stuff on my special. Thank you so much. We'll see. But I wanted to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. My name is Justin Smith. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, Justin Smith. Did you guys have a good time? Yeah! You guys are so damn cool, man. Listen, the wait staff is coming around and they're dropping checks right now. So if you haven't gotten your check, just hang tight. We're gonna say a couple of words and get out of here in a second. And before we get out, big round of applause for the wait staff here tonight. Let them hear it, man. Killed it. Justin's a very good friend of mine. I've known him for literally one of my best buds. I've known him for years. We've been working together for a long time. Obviously, you guys know, so he's so talented. One more time for him. Let him hear it, man. Yeah, something is like a real thing in comedy. This special tonight, the format of comedy, it's all changing. There's a lot of inner workings and stuff right now. So the burden of producing stuff and everything used to fall on other channels is almost falling on the comedians now. So one of the things that we're forced to do is take bets on ourselves more than we used to have to in the past, you know? And it's a good thing for content and everything. But this special tonight, Justin self-financed it, you know? The homeless pimp, the very amazing cinematographer out of New York. Not an easy get, you know? And so all that stuff you see here,